All right, converting fractions into decimals. To convert a fraction to a decimal, you need to find its equivalent fraction with one of these three denominators, with 100, 10, 100, or 1000. Then, once you've found its equivalent fraction with one of these denominators, you're going to express it as a decimal. Okay, this first problem, we have 1/5. Okay, we want to express 1/5 as a decimal. We need to find its fraction equivalent with one of these denominators. Okay, now, how do I know which denominator to pick? 10, 100, or 1000? I'm going to pick the smallest denominator that is divisible by 5. 10 is divisible by 5, so I'm going to choose 10. Okay, now I need to do some cross multiplication to figure out what 10 is. 1 times 10, so I'm going to do cross multiplication. 1 times 10 is 10 equals 5x. X is going to equal 2. Okay, so 1/5 equals 2 over 10. And since this is 10, my final fraction, or my final decimal, is going to be 0.2. So 1/5 is the same as 0.2. All right, comparing decimals and fractions through inequalities. To compare a decimal and a fraction, you have to first convert the fraction to a decimal first, and then compare the two decimals. So inevitably, I want to find if 2/10 is less than, greater than, or equal to 0.18. Okay, first thing I need to do, I need to do 2/10. I need to convert 2/10 to a decimal. Okay, luckily, my denominator is already in tenths. So this is going to be pretty simple. So this is 2/10, so this is 0.2 because this is the tenths place. Okay, now 0.2, now we're going to compare 0.2 and 0.18. Okay, 0.2 is clearly greater than 0.18 because you compare the place values. The tenth value, there's a 2, and there's a 1 in the tenth value here. So your final answer, greater than. 2/10 is greater than 0.18. Okay, determining two equivalent values from a set of fractions and decimals. This question asks us, which two of the following numbers have the same value? Okay, so we're given a set of fractions and decimals. We want to figure out which two numbers here have the same exact value. To do this, I need to look at the two fractions I'm given, 7/10 and 2/5. Using the previous skill we just learned, I want you to convert these into decimals. Okay, make sure we want to find the equivalent decimal with a denominator of 10, 100, or 1000. This first one's already done for us, so 7 over 10, that's 7/10. So that's going to be 0.7 because that's the tenths place. This next one, 2/5, I want to get this in the denominator of 10, 100, or 1000. I'm going to use 10 in this case. Okay, I'm going to cross multiply to figure out what x is. So I'm going to have 2 times 10 equals 5x. Okay, 20 equals 5x. X equals 4. Okay, so this is going to equal 4 over 10. And that equals 4/10. That's 0.4. Okay, so 2/5 is the same thing as 0.4. Therefore, B and D are actually the same two numbers. Okay, converting decimals into simplified fractions. Okay, to convert a decimal to a fraction in its simplest form, write the decimal as a fraction with the denominator of 10, 100, or 1000. This depends on the place value. Okay, it depends on the place value. Then simplify the fraction. So we want to look at the digit in the last place value. This is the hundredths place value. Okay, we always look at the last digit. This is the hundredth place value. So to write this as a fraction, I'm going to use, because this is the hundredth place, this is the last place, I'm going to use 100 as my denominator. So I'm going to write this as 24 divided by 100. Okay, so 0.24 is equal to 24 over 100. Okay, this is 24 hundredths. Now I need to simplify the fraction. Okay, an easy way to simplify fractions is to, since these are both even numbers, divide them by 2 first. Okay, so keep dividing them by 2. So this is going to be 12 over 50. Okay, these are still even numbers, so keep dividing them by 2. Now I have 6 over 25. Okay, 6 and 25, do they have any common factors? They do not. So the fraction in its simplest form, 0.24 in its simplest form, is going to be 6 over 25. All right, expressing decimal place values as fractions. So we're going to actually express each of these place values as a fraction, okay? We have 4.58. That becomes 4. 5. This 5 is 5/10, right? Because this is the tenths place. So that's going to be 5 over 10. And then this last digit, okay? This 8 is in the hundredths place. So to express that, we're going to write it as 8 over 100. Okay, so the final answer to express this as the sum of fractions and whole numbers, it's going to be 4 plus 5/10 plus 8 over 100.